Okay, let's get into some really interesting material for this deep dive.
Yeah, we're looking at excerpts from something called Making Love Great Again, Thoughts from the Heart.
And, well, it jumps right in with a pretty powerful claim, doesn't it?
It really does. The
Yeah.
source material basically puts forward this core assertion right at the start.
Yeah, it says, and I'm quoting here, of all things we need to make great, we need to make love great again.
I mean, that's quite a statement.
It absolutely is. It immediately sets up, a kind of hierarchy.
A hierarchy of what needs fixing, essentially.
Exactly. What's striking is that phrasing of all things. It acknowledges there might be lots of things people think need to be made great.
Right. Lots of problems out there.
But this source singles out love. It says this is the number one thing, the priority above all others.
So, okay, for our deep dive today exploring these thoughts from the heart, we really need to unpack why. Why does the source lift love up like this? Make it seem, well, singularly important? Well, that framing of all things is deliberate, you know?
Yeah.
It shows an awareness of other potential issues, but then, boom, narrows the focus right down.
And narrows it specifically to love. Also, that phrase, make love great again, that's crucial too, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It carries a lot of weight. It implies a starting point.
That love isn't great right now, in the source's view.
Precisely. And that it used to be. There was supposedly a time when it was great.
So it suggests a decline, right? A loss of something.
Exactly. A perceived fall from some kind of former greatness.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, okay, what did that great state look like to the source?
And what happened? What does the source think caused things to change?
Yeah, what's the perceived problem now? The source doesn't spell out the whole diagnosis right in this opening line, obviously.
No, but by just stating the need to make it great again, it kind of lays the groundwork. It suggests something really fundamental got lost along the way.
And, by putting love above all these other things, it implicitly argues that fixing love, making it great again, isn't just like one item on a checklist.
It's more foundational.
Maybe the foundation.
Yeah.
The thing that if you get it right, maybe other things fall into place, or the fixes for other things might actually stick.
So it's like the source is saying, look, you can patch up this and that, but if love itself isn't right, isn't great,
then none of it really matters as much, or it won't last.
yeah.
Something like that. It positions love as absolutely critical, the linchpin.
It does make you ask, though, what does great love actually mean to this source?
That's a key question, isn't it? The assertion itself is bold, but a bit broad.
But the title, Thoughts from the Heart, that gives us a clue, maybe?
I think so. It suggests we're probably not talking about something superficial or, transactional.
Right. From the heart implies, well, depth, sincerity, real connection.
Emotional resonance, perhaps. Empathy, genuine care. Maybe those are the qualities the source feels need to be restored to greatness. We have to infer a bit from the language used.
Yeah, you have to read between the lines based on the source's own words.
The power of this opening, though, is really in that intense focus. It forces you, the listener, to consider this specific viewpoint.
A viewpoint where this one task making love great again is presented as the most vital thing we could possibly do.
Like it's the root issue, or maybe the ultimate solution. It shifts your perspective
Away from juggling dozens of problems.
towards asking, what if this is the core thing that needs attention?
Yeah. The source doesn't give all the answers right away, but it definitely gives a very clear thesis, doesn't it? A main point to focus on.
A very strong point of view.
Okay, so wrapping up our look at this opening assertion from Making Love Great Again, Thoughts from the Heart. The takeaway is pretty straightforward. The source makes it absolutely clear that, in its view, making love great again is the most important task. Period.
Not just one important goal among many, but the paramount goal. The top of the list.
Right. Which kind of leaves you, the listener, with a thought to mull over, doesn't it?
What's that?
Well, if you really lean into the premise the source puts forward, that making love great is the single most critical focus, what does that actually imply?
Like, what are the consequences of that prioritization?
Exactly. What does prioritizing that above all else tell you about how the source understands, I don't know, human well-being or connection, or even how society functions best?
What would a world driven by that primary goal actually look like, according to this perspective?
Yeah. Something to think about, based purely on that powerful opening line from these thoughts from the heart.